Hello, friends. Welcome back to the channel. Thank you for joining me for part 2 of my interview with Phil Siracusa. The link to part 1, where he shares his near-death experience that he had as a teenager during a visit to the dentist's office, will be in the description, as well as his links. Today, we will be doing a Q&A where I will ask him some questions about his near-death experience. He shares his views on hell and how to get out of a hellish experience. He's the only one I've ever talked to who is able for at least a couple of moments to resist the trip back down the tunnel towards Earth. So I asked him about that as it relates to free will, our lives on Earth, and whether or not he had a choice to go back. So we get into some interesting topics. Thank you guys so much for watching. Here's Phil. So when you were in your experience, you said you saw or you experienced that the garden of love, where every blade of grass was made out of love and you could connect to that. Do you think it's true here as well, that everything is love and light, but we may not be tuned into that?
I believe we can love things and we can appreciate beautiful gardens. But you see, we have 5 senses here. And when I crossed over, we have our senses just keep going as if we're telepathic. We can feel vibrational energies coming through the soul's energy of us. So we can love here and we can give unconditional love. But because on the other side, it's so open and our awareness and our 360 degree, and we take in everything around us, it's the greater part of us. It's the essence of the trueness of us. And we're all connected. And it's hard to see in the physical realm because the way things happen and unfold, and everybody has a different opinion. It changes the formality of how we live our lives through socialism and through everyday life. But when you're on the other side, that doesn't exist. The one of all of us, the existence of us and the creation of us does exist, and you can appreciate it more. So here's a perfect example. You make believe you're blowing up a balloon, and we're all physical people are on the inside of the balloon, and the spirit realm is on the outside of the balloon. Well, on the inside, where we have our 5 senses, and there's only so far we can go. But when you're crossed over out of that balloon, you feel a world of essence of pureness. And I believe that mankind, if everyone in the physical realm was on the same page, there could be a lot more happiness and harmony. But that would still be to a limit, because on the other side, everything is opened for the vibration of us.
You mentioned that you saw people on the other side, and I was wondering if you got any sense of what they might be doing, if they were maybe between lives or if they had gone on to something completely different.
What I seen was children, a lot of children, teenagers, a lot of adults, a lot of middle-aged people. And in the part of heaven, I didn't see, I guess when you cross over completely and you don't come back, you'll experience the fullness of heaven. But the part of it I seen as I'm drifting way above them, they were happy. There were families that were connected, and they were playing in the parks, and children on the swings, and people by their homes and the fields. It's hard to explain, but I'm going to try. That unbelievable feeling of not only going through the fields, but feeling every vibration of energy through the fields. And the grass, I really got to talk about the grass, because it's so simple, but it's so perfect. It's each blade of grass is as it was manicured perfect. So they were playing, they were families, and they were happy. And I do remember at one point a tremendous body of water that thousands of people were in, thousands of souls were in this water. And that was like, I could see 360, but that was like a three-quarter turn. There's this tremendous body of water, which doesn't have a limit on size. And it's as if the water was the restoring energy as well. So I see people in the most happiest, purest form. Everyone looked great. Everyone looked incredible. And I get asked today, well, where do people work? And I wasn't there long enough to grasp. I believe that my near-death experience not only gave me a message for mankind, but also it was giving me a show and tell of this is what it's like. Just a scratch on the surface of it, of what it really is, but not the true abundance of when you're there and you don't have this near death, you're just there and you've crossed. I'm sure through my thoughts today that there's so much more to experience. And I do want to talk about these rings in the sky because that also was significant to me. In fact, that angelic being that came into my dream a few years ago, I remember those rings in the sky and the size of these rings, these big circles, like they're kind of like these energy things, was immense and beautiful. And people say, well, how could a ring be beautiful? Is because it had this color of this aura, energy like glowing around it. And I don't know what it represents, what it means on the other side. In the physical realm, I would say maybe it's some sort of portal where the souls can come and go, but that's just my perspective in the physical realm. I really don't know. I know they were tremendously beautiful, large, very large, and that's one of the things that when I talk about today, and even that dream, I have felt this vibration coming through me. Just like wow, I was blown away by what I was looking through the conscious mind and also in the dream state as she's showing me this.
You're the first person that I've talked to that was able to resist going back down the tunnel to Earth. And I found that interesting. Do you feel like you had a choice in going back, or that there's any part of you that had wanted or chosen to go back?
I wanted to stay in heaven. You see, I never met my grandfather.
Mm.
Could you imagine that? And then you meet your grandfather and he has all this love for you. Would you want to leave him? Um, I didn't want to leave him. I wasn't thinking, there was no thought conscience of where I came from, the physical realm. There was no thought of I came from a dentist office, and that was all. This was the new me. This was the soul's life, the real life. And I didn't want to leave him. And it's funny because these are my grandparents, but yet what I left behind, the physical realm, didn't exist. I think about that as well today, how that part of was gone. It was erased. And when you're in the presence of your grandparents who love you and one that you never met, I pulled through with all my consciousness and feelings of I want to stay. I want
Mm.
to stay in heaven.
So you wanted to stay, but yet you were sent back. Do you think there's any higher part of yourself that may have chosen to live the life on Earth previously? Or were you just sent against your will?
Through my experience and what I believe today
Mhm.
is that before we're born into the physical realm, it's as if we've written our life out, what we want to experience in the physical realm. And it may seem odd, but it's as if the soul wants to experience different things and you have to live out the journey, whether it's short or long, whether it's sick. Um, it's as if you want to go through this existence and and go through it in a physical being. And I don't know why, because if the other side's so perfect, what I felt, why would a soul want to come and experience the physical realm? but I feel deeply that we've written out our lives. And I really don't have the answer, all those answers, but that's what I feel like we've chosen this journey. And I always talk to people and say, never take a shortcut in this physical realm because you're here for a reason. You're here
Mm,
because you've written it out. You're here because the higher creator wants you to experience things. I've talked to 5 or 6 people that have taken their own lives, and that means a lot to me. And I had long talks with them about why we're here, and there's so much love and what you can give out and give out the pureness of you and your soul to others, because things will turn around. As dark as they get and as negative as things get in anyone's physical realm, that light is an abundance of loving energy. But go through this course and never give up.
mm. I really like that advice to not take shortcuts. I think that could be applied to a lot of things because we have a tendency to just want to make things as easy as possible here, when maybe we should be challenging ourselves to grow as much as we can.
I definitely agree. In order to grow, we have to do things we don't want to do and get out of our comfort zones. And when I when I was on the ceiling and I was pulled through from the dentist office, I use this analogy. It's as if each step of our life, we're putting a piece of a puzzle together of us. Well, my puzzle wasn't complete because if it was complete, I wouldn't be here today talking to you.
Mm,
And when people talk about they seeing their life unfold from adolescence and growing up, and it's like a screen, like this movie screen they're watching of all the different things they're going through. I didn't see that, but I seen the outline of me. So we need to complete our puzzles in the best way that we can going forward, because the truth is we need to have faith. And I have a lot of that now because faith is what is going to get us going through the sick, through watching loved ones cross over, through things that we feel like I can't get a new job or I'm never going to get a new car, and all those things in the physical realm that you want. Have faith. And if it's meant to be in this physical realm and you give everything you give through your positive energy and not towards the greed, things can unfold in a very
mm,
pleasant way for you. And as you're going through the journey, you could be helping others, coaching others, talking to other people, and sharing wisdom from within
mm.
of how you made it through all those points of your life. And that's what I do because there were points in my life where I was blocked and I didn't see tomorrow. I didn't see a door opening. And sure enough, when your back is against the wall, like mine was, open up and turn to the creator and say, I need help. I need help getting through this, but fill it with intention.
Mm.
Fill it with the pureness of you, not with the perception of the mind of, well, I want it because I deserve it. It doesn't work like that. And the creator knows it doesn't work like that. It has to come from within you, and it has to be felt from within you. Talk from the heart, talk from the soul, and talk from the love of you without any distractions, no cell phones, no TVs, computers, or anyone around. Open yourself up. And if you need that answer, I promise you. And that also goes to the same lines. We all lost a loved one in the physical realm, if not many. I get asked today, well, is it possible that grandma, grandpa, cousin, friend, relative, sister, brother, can they hear me? Do they still love me? Am I ever going to see them again? My answer is very clear. It's yes. Never give up the doubt and look for the signs, because you may be turning the radio station and all of a sudden there's a song that reminds you of someone that crossed over that used to play when you're around them and they like that song. Or you may have a scent of a perfume or a cologne, or you may find something that um, they showed you in the physical realm, and like, oh, I remember this, even pictures. But songs play a big part, I believe, because song spirits have a way of communicating through the vibration of songs. And look for the signs. And when you do have the sign, acknowledge it and say through the mind, because it's all telepathic on the other side. You don't have to speak verbal. Thank you. Give a validation, say thank you to whoever is crossed that you feel you're speaking to. My cousin died years ago, and I took that very hard because we always did everything together, from teenage years and everything. And when I found out that he passed away, I was broken. And not too long after, like a year after, I would hear songs that would remind of me of when we were together, hanging out, whether it's Florida or wherever we used to go. And through my mind, I'm like, "Thank you." And then I would feel this feeling inside of me, like he's saying, "Okay." He's his love for me saying, "Okay." You know, I'm not gone. I'm not gone. And I believe that. I don't know how the soul separation between the physical realm and the spiritual realm makes that connection of all, because for me it was a one connection of heaven and this was over. But from living life and what I dealt with, there is that interconnection between the spirit realm and us.
Thank you so much for addressing that topic. I see that question all the time in my comments where people will ask, I've lost so and so, will I ever see them again? Or are they still connected to me? Can they see what I'm doing? So I appreciate you bringing that up.
That's very important to me.
Yeah.
And also I get asked this question, which I like to bring up. I get asked this quite often. They say, well, is there a hell then? If you is there only perfectness, that even if you committed crimes in the physical realm, then there's only perfectness and that the soul or your being is not judged. And here's how I could describe this. When I was in that tunnel of energy at one point, I was null and void, and there was no melodies, and I felt like I was lost and never be found. There's a possibility that that could have been something that many of us wouldn't want to experience, because that was nothingness.
Mhm.
And I believe that we all, through a karmic view, we all have these ties, and we really need to do and be the best that we can be.
Do you have any thoughts on how a person could get out of an experience, a hellish experience like that? I don't know if you would call it a hellish experience, but if they found themselves in a place like that.
In the physical realm, or
I was thinking in the spiritual realm, but either, I guess.
you know how? It's very simple. That one little thing that happened to me from miles and miles and miles away, that little pinhole of light, bring that light inside of you, into your consciousness, into your thoughts, your mind, your vibration. Bring it to you and go to it, because that's what opened up another world for me on the other side when I seen heaven. So that's what you have to do. That pinhole of light. And if it doesn't exist because you can't see it through the mind's eye, through the consciousness, ask for it.
Mm,
Ask and have faith. And I promise you, it will come and open up for you.
that's beautiful. One more question. What would you say is the purpose of life?
Purpose of life is, we're here to, I look back at my life now. Again, I'm 54 and I look backwards, right? And I didn't think in my 20s I'd be bringing a family into the world and be married with kids. I wasn't that person. I was out with my friends and hanging out, and I wasn't that person. Now I have 4 boys and I'm a grandfather, and I look back at the purpose. And the purpose is, it all happens for a reason. So you have to set the tone, follow the plan, and the plan will work. And don't try to reinvent the wheel of life. Follow the pattern and do the best things you can do. career, family, love, kids, children, other families, and just keep going through it. And then we're creating this bond of energy of love within the physical realm. So that is the love in the physical realm. If everyone can see that for the way it really is, we can live a lot happier with more peace within ourselves and not expect so much from others. So, in perspective, if I look back, I believe that this was all planned out for me, and each one of our lives was planned out by us before birth. How, I don't know, but it's what I feel.
Phil, would you like to share about any projects you have going on about your Horsefly Chronicles radio? And you also said you have a reality TV show.
Yes. Horsefly Chronicles Radio, my wife and I started a few years ago, and we wanted to talk to people around the world who not only had near-death experiences, but have incarnations, angels, people who've had paranormal experiences within the physical realm, the supernatural, the unnatural, and get a broad perspective on what people would think and their beliefs and things that they've encountered. And I have to say that we've interviewed quite a few celebrities, and it's amazing that it's the most simple things we deal with in life, they deal with, and some of the supernatural things we deal with in life, they deal with. Um, so we're all connected. We're all tied into that same universal law. We just have to appreciate, validate, and love and feel it. And the reality TV show is, um, it's our home. I have a wife who's an Italian, likes to cook a lot of food, and we're originally from New York, and we live in Pennsylvania. And sometimes there may be shadows or things appearing, and the kids coming home from school and all wild up, and it's a funny entertainment, and then you don't know what you're going to walk into in the reality of the home. So the producers loved it. It's being worked on, and hopefully in the late 2022 there'll be something coming out willingly, and that's what that you can follow life with the Syracuses. There is some things out there, I believe, some partials. So that's about the family, the Italian family, the good cook, and maybe a little bit of a haunted home. But I want people to know this. You see, your home could be haunted, but it may be just a loved one trying to say, "Hey, I'm trying to talk to you." You know, open your eyes, your mind, your thoughts, and don't always be afraid, because they might want to show you that they love you and that they're not gone.
Phil, I will have your links in the description if anyone would like to check those out.
I'd like to leave off with one more thing, if you don't mind.
Yes, please.
I'd like to share my email address, verbally and then on a link. P Siracusa, Siracusa number 4 at yahoo.com. I want to share that because if you're in doubt and you're having issues, send me an email and I'll see what I can do. I'm not a healer. Maybe I could be a fit for you to help you. I'm a messenger, and have that restored faith is what I want everyone to really know.
Well, thank you for your openness, your willingness to share your story and to help. As you said, it's so important to get this message out and to help as many as we can right now. So I have really enjoyed this conversation and I've learned a lot from you. And I love the simple way that you describe things.
Thank you so much. You have an incredible show. I've watched a lot of the interviews you've done, and I really like it, and I'm proud to be part of it.